Blog Talk Radio.
But when Lockup visited Kentucky State Penitentiary, we met Fleece Johnson, a longtime inmate who practices a very different kind of homosexuality.
Well, we have sexual desires, right? So you got a bunch of men locked up in one place. All of them get hard. All of them horny. All of them got sexual desires. So what are they going to do? You won't let them have a woman. They're going to have each other. Somebody's going to have to give us some booty. And it's just that simple.
The most memorable story that the police told us was about the place and importance that booty has in a maximum security penitentiary. And he went on about it and on about it.
In his prison, booty was more important than food. Booty. A man's butt. It was more, I'm sorry, it was more booty, having some booty was more important than drinking water. Booty.
Johnson went on to tell our crew how he used to satisfy his sexual desires, especially during the 1970s and 80s, when he was most active and prison security was more lax.
When I see one, and he looks good to me, when I go see him, I'll say, you come on. I'll tell you what, I like you, and I want you. And we can do it the easy way or the hard way. So the choice is yours. And it was always yes.
Johnson also had a warning for the new generation of inmates. They might be asking for trouble from old-timers.
You know, they got this thing where they save their pants their butt. It's a style. They call it some sort of gangster style. You know, it's sexy to us, right? And see, but they wasn't proud for this, right? So you save your pants in her, man, somebody be up in your butt, you know. And it's just that simple.
Johnson even let the lockup crew know that when he was in his prime, they wouldn't be safe from his advances either.
If y'all had been in her back then in them days, and as much as I like booty, I probably felt one in y'all butt as y'all was walking past me and dared you to say so. I'm not no shame in my game. This is nothing that I'm ashamed to admit. I am what I am. I'm a warrior too, you know, so let that be known. I'm a warrior.
Mr. Nero, am I being heard? I just opened your line up so I can get a mic check. Am I being heard, Mr. Nero?
Yes, I can hear you, Gus.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you, sir. Okie dokie. Context of white supremacy, Gus T Renegade in for second program of the day. Before we get started, I want to thank Shay Abram, because she wanted the program last Sunday at 8 p.m. Pacific. That was just early enough that I was not able to see last week's episode of the Boondocks in time to have any commentary on it during the broadcast. If she had pushed the show a little bit later, I would have been able to see it, and I would have had commentary last week about it. But because that didn't happen, whole extra episode this week to talk about last week's episode of the Boondocks and this week's episode of the Boondocks, and they for sure have a strong theme. I'm going to go to the phone lines. I'm going to try to get to the phone lines as early as possible, but I want to do a quality job presenting my views on what I saw the last 2 weeks of the program. But before I get started, number one, as I say consistently, I hope non-white people are not tuning into the broadcast if they are not getting constructive information. If you do not find the program of value, please invest your time and energy in something else. We do not want victims of racism wasting time. Number two, white people have extraordinary technology. I was talking to Back of the Bus after today's program, the first program that aired on Sunday, June 27th, and we were saying that one of the things that might replace white supremacy with justice is white people outsmarting themselves with all of their technology and gadgets and such, because this broadcast would not have been possible just 8 years ago. But what I would like, anyone who's listening to this program at Blog Talk Radio, if you can listen to this, if you're listening live, listen to this program from the front show page for the cows, the main show page, not the page for this specific episode. And the reason I want you to listen from the main show page is because of the images that are flashing by. I want anyone listening to this program, I want those images scrolling by, the power of images and symbols. I want those images flashing across your retina for the duration of this broadcast so you can have a picture to go with what I'm saying is going down on the Boondocks. Because I think seeing these images, and these images span not just this week and last week, these images are a collection of images from all 3 seasons of the Boondocks. So you're seeing photos, you're seeing shots from season 1, season 2, season 3, and you're seeing quite a few shots from last week and this week of the Boondocks. So please, if you in fact, you can open up a new tab, right? You can open a new tab and just have the page that your screen is on, have that be the main show page so you can see these images in their entirety as the broadcast is playing. Right, because that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at these images. Man, oh man. Okay, and number two, the program might not be constructive, but I do want to take time to call attention to this, and this is really for people who are serious about replacing white supremacy with justice. We had discussions, I think, several times this week about fear and motivation to be serious about attempting to counter racism. Context of white supremacy, this is not only is this the 19th program for the month of June, this is the 10th program since last Sunday. 10 programs from Sunday, June 20th to Sunday, June 27th. This is the 10th program. Still no phone, no computer. Now, all the programs might be garbage. I suspect that's not the case, but they all might be garbage. I say that because I think oftentimes it's like collateral. We discussed that the first time that Dr. Martin Kevorkian and Khalid Patterson were on the show together back in October. Coincidentally, on Halloween, they were together and we discussed the film Collateral. In that film, Jamie Foxx's character, he has an idea for a limousine service, and he has been working a cab for 12 years. And he's saying, I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it perfect. I'm not going to start. I'm going to wait until I can get it perfect. I'm going to wait until I can get it perfect. And Tom Cruise's character, the white guy, calls him on it like, what are you talking about? I mean, just get out and get it done, man. What are you procrastinating for 12 years? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, like Robin Williams' character, and do the right thing. Most likely, as long as the system of white supremacy exists, things are not going to be optimal for anything that a victim of white supremacy wants to do, whether it's marriage, whether it's a counter-racist effort. Things are most likely not going to be optimal. You cannot let that impede your desire, will to get out and just make an effort to replace white supremacy with justice, or to do anything that is of constructive value. There's no way you can do 10 programs in 7 days or 8 days at this point. There's no way you can do 10 programs that quickly and with the different types of guests. I mean, it's a pretty hard change to go from David Crockett and talking about advertising and marketing to switch to go to Dr. Welsing, to switch to go to Umar Abdullah Johnson. I mean, it's just no way you can go that quickly and be totally prepared, perfectly prepared the way you would want to. The thing that I lean on more than anything is my confidence in my understanding of racism, white supremacy. I don't care who's on the program. If it's Raymond Graham, I don't care if it's, I think I reversed his name, Graham A. Raymond. There we go. If it's Graham A. Raymond, I don't care if it's David Crockett. I don't care if it's Dr. Welsing. I don't care if it's Mr. Fuller. I don't care if it's a collection of black males. I have faith and confidence in my understanding of racism, white supremacy, that I will be able to speak in a constructive manner, and I'm okay with that not happening. I'm also okay with there being errors and me not being able to do my best, because it's likely that that'll happen too. So I hope, if nothing else, if doing this many shows, if it has demonstrated nothing else, that as a victim of racism, white supremacy, if you're really about replacing white supremacy with justice, be okay with making errors, having mistakes, because you're going to have those. Be okay with that, accept that, and more than anything, you just want to be confident in your sincerity in wanting to replace white supremacy with justice and your understanding. That's what you should lean on to do work. That's what I lean on, and we'll be back tomorrow. Bang. And I hadn't even been promoting that. Mr. Morton, he did 2 documentary films that are very much related to the program that we had earlier today. One of them is What Black Men Think, and the other one is Men to Boys. Very much related to what we've been talking about. That's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, another program tomorrow, just being active. I said that we're going to be active to the finish line, MacBook Pro or not. This is the last thing I will mention before I get to the Boondocks. The MacBook Pro. People have been donating generously. Thank you. I appreciate it. Almost have $1,000. I originally posted the price of the MacBook Pro is between $1,200 and $1,300. I'm going to put a link to the Apple site so that you can see the MacBook Pro, so you can see the price. The 13-inch MacBook Pro is $1,200. State tax in Washington is 9.5%, so the state tax would add about $100 onto that, so we'd be at $1,300. I want to have the MacBook protection plan. Basically, it means if anything should happen with the machine, call white people. They have 24-hour tech support, and you get this plan for 3 years. Anything happens, you just call them, and they will make your computer working again. They will solve the problem for you. That protection plan is about $250, and I want the carrying case. I've been saying that the whole time, MacBook Pro with the carrying case. So that price with the tax, the protection plan, and the carrying case would be about $1,600. So that's the minimum. I really don't want the 13-inch. The computer that I wanted from the very beginning was the 15-inch. The 15-inch is $1,800. The protection plan is about $350. Carrying case, so for the 15-inch, it would be about $2,300. I had some apprehension about saying that at first, because as I said before, a lot of people were upset about my request for a MacBook Pro. I remember specifically someone said, Gus is holding us hostage for this MacBook Pro, and I really had an attitude about that, having done, this many programs and not gotten anything. At the time, I hadn't gotten anything. Nobody had, contributed anything really. And so I was upset about that. Other people, were complaining, you're begging for a computer and all this. I have no shame at all. As I said before, and I'll be saying it again until we get to August 5th, I don't care if I do not get the MacBook Pro. We did how many ever shows we did. I'll put my counter-racist body of work up against anybody that you would like to name, and I think you would compare favorably. And at the end of the day, everybody gets an F because the system of white supremacy is still here. So whatever. I don't care. If I get it, great. I'll keep working. If I don't get it, oh well. I'm willing to get the 13-inch. If I'm not able to get enough to get the 15, fine. But I do want the protection plan. That's very important. I don't want to be in a situation where I have computer problems. But I feel no shame at all in saying that SynQ encouraged me. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad, a.k.a. SynQ. If Tim Wise can go out and get $6,000 to speak one time and practice racism, white supremacy, if he can charge $6,000, these conferences, Mrs. Abrams, she spoke last week, the Encore conference, over $3,000 to participate in that. The White Privilege Conference is also a pretty pricey event. If people can go and dump thousands of dollars into these people and or events that I don't think are very constructive, and I've done over 160 programs here, I don't think that's asking too much at all to get a computer so that I can continue going, and I don't think it's being greedy or asking too much to get the 15-inch. Computer. I've seen white people that have monstrous 17 inches. I'm not asking for all that. 15-inch MacBook Pro. And as I said, if you think that's greedy, you don't think the program is constructive, so what? Don't donate anything. Don't try to get anybody else to donate anything, and don't listen. But anyway, got that said, getting to tonight's efforts. I hope people will remember that sound clip. Thank you, Miss Jones. I'll leave it at that. Miss Jones, thank you. She sent me that about 2 hours before showtime, and it's very much related to the program tonight because I'm going to cover that as we go, but I hope keep that clip in mind. I hope people were able to make out the audio of what he was saying. If you didn't hear anything else, you heard the word booty a lot. Keep that in mind as we move forward. I did have one more thing. Back of the Bus asked me to share this. Back of the Bus, he shared when he was on the earlier program today, Sunday, June 27th, that I did send out an email to some of the black males who participated in the earlier broadcast, and I definitely want to send my appreciation to all of the black males who participated in that program. Thank you for sharing and investing your time. I hope it was constructive. It was pretty cool to have that many black males on a program and not have any arguing. Everyone was extremely courteous and polite and exchanged views. I think everybody participated. Thank you to everybody who joined in that broadcast. But yeah, I did want to point out, this is per Back of the Bus, I did send out an email to some of the black males who participated in that program, and the only thing I said was that I didn't really have a format. I didn't have questions. I was willing to let people take the discussion wherever they wanted. The only two things that I wanted to address were, number one, difficulties in relating to other black males, being able to have constructive dialogue. That was something I wanted to address. And number two was experiences with white women, both before becoming informed about white supremacy and after becoming more informed about white supremacy. And specifically, I said in that email, I wanted to save the white chicks part of the discussion until the second hour. That was important. He said that I should share that because the discussion of white women came up early. It came up at about the 20-minute mark in the program, and it dominated the discussion, which I find very interesting and also related to the broadcast, the Boondocks broadcast tonight. But he did want me to share that. Shout out to Back of the Bus. Please check his blog, nonwhitealliance.wordpress.com. Okay, getting to the Boondocks. Man, oh man. I guess I would start this by pointing to something that Dr. Welsing said, and I think this is relevant to the earlier broadcast today, and it's relevant to the Boondocks episode tonight, and even the episode last week. It's relevant all the way through. Dr. Welsing, she was giving a lecture, and a black male asked her about getting arms to use violence to counter the system of racism, white supremacy. And Dr. Welsing responded. She said, if you're going to engage in war, you have to be disciplined. You can't just, pick up a gun and get rowdy, particularly with white people who train with weapons from the time they're in the crib. They are training with weapons. You have to be disciplined. Non-white people, black people, do not even display discipline with regards to sexual intercourse. We do not display discipline. You can look at the really disgraceful number of abortions that black people have in this area of the world, as discussed with Mark Crutcher when he was on the program. He's the editor and director of Maafa 21. We do not display discipline as regards to the ridiculous HIV numbers worldwide with regards to black people. And we do not display discipline with regards to having sexual intercourse with white women. Our total lack of discipline with regards to sex is a huge reason why we cannot replace white supremacy with justice. No sexual discipline. And in fact, white people encourage and thrive off of our sexual recklessness. And you see that all over the Boondocks these past 2 weeks. That's number one. And the second thing I wanted to say is that it's straight from the code book. Mr. Fuller says that you should not regard so-called homosexual activity as anything that is funny or trivial. It is not something that should be joked about. It is a serious matter and seriously incorrect. And I think that's a big theme and a major concern. That's why I'm doing the program tonight about these past 2 Boondocks episodes in the first place, is that this homosexual, and look at those photos. I want to say that again. Anybody, if you're listening to this program at Blog Talk Radio, listen to this program from the main show page so that you can see these photographs. Look at these photographs. And again, these images are from all 3 seasons. I think 818 pointed that out on a previous broadcast, that I said, look at the entire body of work. This is not just an isolated thing about all this homosexual activity popping up on the Boondocks. This is from the very beginning, season 1, Gangsta-Lit. You're seeing photographs from season 1 with Gangsta-Licious and him kissing another guy, and this whole running jokes. The tonight's episode, A Date with the Booty Warrior, is a play off of an episode from season 1, A Date with the Health Inspector, where Tom goes to jail and is sending all these calls about his fear of being anally raped. They have a lot of jokes about homosexual activity being funny, and in my view, these jokes are escalating in the Boondocks. It's even more of them. We talked the previous episode this season, the Jimmy Rebel episode, the story of Jimmy the Rebel, or Johnny Rebel, whatever it is, where he and Ruckus are seemingly having a date, and they're sitting together, eating an ice cream sundae together. I mean, straight from the code book. This is not something to joke about, and I find it problematic because this is being presented in a cartoon form. A lot of kids watch the Boondocks. A lot of kids watch the Boondocks. I mean, I know it comes on late. It comes on at 11:30 in people's time zones or whatever, but I mean, it's replayed. It's all over the internet. Lots of kids watch the Boondocks. I don't know how the typical confused black 14-year-old, 13-year-old, I don't know how they would respond to seeing all of this homosexual content on the Boondocks, and particularly it being presented as funny. I don't know what their response would be. I don't even know what the response would be for the typical confused older black person. I don't know what their response would be, but keep that in mind as these images flash across the screen. I hope people are conceding to my request to listen to this program from the main page so that you can see these images as they flash by. I want to start with last week's episode, pause this week's episode, and I will hit the phone lines because a lot of people called in already, so I'll hit the phone lines. I'll see if I can do this in 30 minutes. 30 minutes, and I'll splice in some sound clips Actually, give me 35 minutes. Give me 35 minutes, and I'll see how quick I can go. 35 minutes. Okay. The pause episode, that was last week's. I don't know if people got an opportunity to see that broadcast. The quick summary, it is a spoof on Tyler Perry, satire, if you will, of Tyler Perry and his Medea franchise. Basically, Grandpa wants to be in a Tyler Perry film so that he can be famous and get chicks, basically. These are his exact words. They begin the episode just kind of showing parody of the Medea films. Huey breaks it down. Granddad goes to an audition. He gets the part. And it just goes from there. I have some clips from the past week's episode. I'll play one, share some thoughts. I have 3 clips. I'll play one, share some thoughts, and just go that way. This is clip number 1 from last week, June 20th, Season 3, Episode 8, Pause.
Hello, how do you do? We're so glad you joined our crew. Welcome to our lovely compound, where it all goes down. Hot oil, bananas and cream, white unicorns and wet dreams, rainbow and lace. Oh, it makes me want to scream. Anything is possible with Jesus on our team. Jesus gave me a vision to make plays and dress like women, to wear corsets and real tight linen, big drugs with a lot of passion in them. Am I coming in? I know you have suspicions, but I'm on man. Trust me, we can switch positions. It's alright to cross-dress for pride. It's alright to cross-dress for pride.
Context of white supremacy, again, that was from last week's episode, Season 3, Episode 8 of the Boondocks, Pause. Let me begin by saying last week's episode was hilarious. I have seen a lot of racist white supremacist films, television programs. I've even read some racist white supremacist books that I have found humorous. So I don't have a problem laughing at something that I know is promoting racism, white supremacy. Last week's episode was hilarious. The satire was right on. If you look at some of the photographs that are flashing by that are from last week's program, I mean, it was pretty funny. I laughed a lot. I've watched it several times. It was hilarious. But, or actually, I'll rewind from my butt. Let me say this first. I think that it's probably one of the best critiques of Tyler Perry or criticisms of Tyler Perry that I've seen. I think it does a really good job of just showing how redundant the films are. I mean, I've only seen like 2 Tyler Perry films, and they were excruciating to watch. That's why I haven't done any breakdowns of Tyler Perry films, because I can't watch those films. When I tried, it was like an all-day effort to try to watch. Like I had to watch 20 minutes, stop, take a break, go outside, breathe. Like it was torture to watch his work, and it's baffling to me that people will pile into buses and drive hours and spend lots of money to go and see all of these films. And I mean, it's just it really speaks to the pitiful condition of black people in a system of white supremacy that Tyler Perry has become a $500 million enterprise. At any rate, I thought it was a great critique of Tyler Perry's work and really exposing how silly the work is, and exposing we're really promoting homosexual activity and gayness, having a black male dressed up like a woman every film. I felt it did a fantastic job. I spoke with Back of the Bus about this earlier, and he said that he had heard people discussing last week's episode and speaking against Tyler Perry and saying, yeah, I do think this is gay. To have a black male in a dress, I do think this is gay. I do think this is really incorrect. So that maybe could be constructive, maybe. I'll even give him, the photograph reminded me. I think one of the great things that the program did is that it really made you keep in mind that the Tyler Perry films, in addition to having this, great big joke about this black male being in a dress, they really push a lot of Christianity. And when Dr. Ashanti was on the program in February, shout out listener in Canada, black female, she said that was one of her favorite programs with Dr. Ashanti. He said that the church does more to emasculate and castrate black males than anything else. He said that on the program. Go back and listen to it because he did say it and he explained why. But I felt last week's episode of the Boondocks did a great job of knotting those two. If you look, one of the photos flashing by, there it is. It has white Jesus and Tyler Perry in his dress, and he explains. He said he was talking to God, and Jesus said, "Yeah, it would be great. You could get a lot of people in if you cross-dress." I thought that was excellent imagery of having the white person there to okay this and say, yes, this is something that should be done. This will be great, and definitely in a system of white supremacy, Tyler Perry wouldn't exist if white people did not permit him to do this, if they didn't allow it and, in my view, encourage it by making sure that everyone has access to it. I know there are a lot of other black films that I think are constructive that you will not have as easy a time accessing as Tyler Perry's works. Spook Who Sat by the Door for one, Mr. Fuller's work for two, Dr. Welsing's work for three. You will not have as easy a time getting your hands on their work as you will a Tyler Perry movie. But even with that, those, and I see the photograph again. I think that is great. I think that is fantastic, having that image of Jesus, white Jesus, next to Tyler Perry, and he's leaning on Jesus through the whole episode to justify and sanction what he's doing. I thought that was great. Even with all that, it's still, I was thinking, number one, it's really easy to beat up on black people. It's really easy to beat up on black males. I have heard a ton of people fuss about Tyler Perry. I've heard a ton of people say it's incorrect, that they don't think the dresses. I've seen articles in the Washington Post. This is not, brand new to come out and have an indictment of Tyler Perry. White people are not going to be jumping out to his defense. Spike Lee has come out and chastised him. It's not really new. I just think it was a creative way of doing it. But the fact that he leaped on Tyler Perry the episode leaps on Tyler Perry in this manner, I felt it could have been just an easy way of airing more homosexual content. And I mean, there's a ton of homosexual content in this program. I'll play another clip so if I can get through this quickly and get folks on the line here. This is second clip from last week's episode.
Granddad, snap out of it.
Ow! Damn it!
Ow!
Nigga, have you lost your damn mind?
Granddad, you've been brainwashed. You've been sucked into some bizarre homoerotic Christian theater cult.
Yeah, you was about to kiss that dude, no homo.
Boy, I'm just acting. I know it's a homoerotic Christian theater cult, but if it gets me into Hollywood, who cares? It can't be worse than Scientology.
Do you really want to be famous that bad?
Yes. My whole life I've been normal. Normal sucks. I want women half my age to throw themselves at me. I want people to treat me better than they treat other people. And Riley was right. I don't have much time left. Maybe it's a stupid dream, but this is the last chance I'm going to get at it. Remember that TV show Fear Factor when they made people eat goat rectums and monkey testicles, whatever else to win the big prize? Well, this is my Fear Factor, and Mount Dukes is my monkey testicle. And I really want the big prize, even if it means kissing a man. No homo. And when you get home, go in my clean underwear drawer. There should be $200 in quarters. That should be enough to get you through the week, and I'll be home soon, okay?
All right, Granddad. If this is really what you want, we'll get out of here. Good luck with that. That's
clip number 2 from last week's episode. I did appreciate that aspect of it. I felt like they did an excellent job of illustrating how, in a system of white supremacy, it's really easy to manipulate black people to coerce them to do anything you want, really, in a system of white supremacy. That came out yesterday when Dr. Martin Kevorkian was on the program, and we were breaking down the film Live and Let Die. And there's a black male in that film who tells James Bond, for $20, I'll take you to a Klan meeting. And he says it with a smile. That clip that just aired, you have Granddad saying, kissing Medea, this is, my fear factor. This is, me eating monkey testicles and anything else so that I can be famous and not mistreated as a black male in a system of white supremacy, and so that I can have sexual access. He says that in the film, and actually he says he wants a white woman that looks like Linda Carter, who played Wonder Woman way back when. I had to Google that to find out who that was, but yeah, she played Wonder Woman way back when. And that is non-white people in a system of white supremacy. It is easy to manipulate us into doing anything, and I've heard this a lot. If you want to be successful in the so-called entertainment field, I think Mr. Fuller says this, keep that in mind. If you want to be successful in entertainment, you're most likely going to have to be a monster or monstrosity. Halle Berry, Denzel Washington in Training Day, Forrest Whitaker, we discussed yesterday with Last King of Scotland. Martin Lawrence, you can run the list. Matter of fact, just go back and listen to the program with Dr. Baruti when he was here in February, a feminization of the African male. But yeah, it's really easy, and I appreciated that they did pull that out. In fact, I'll go ahead and play the last sound clip because it's relative to this.
Robert, you are amazing. Jesus and I were so pleased.
Don't give me that bush. This is the big prize? Where the Alicia Keyses? Where the Beyoncés? Where's Wonder Woman? All I see is Florida Evanses. I can get a big bitch on my own. I had to kiss you on stage in front of everybody, and all I get is them mud ducks out there? That wasn't the deal.
Robert, Jesus never said it would happen overnight.
Well, how long do I have to suck lips with you before the women out there become hot?
Look, Robbie, I've just sold Ma Dukes Finds Herself a Man as a movie. And guess who's my leading man?
Really? I'm going to be in a movie? Oh.
That's right, Bob. And I only have one request. Look, man, all bullshit aside, can I please just have some ass?
Okay. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you made up this whole cross-dressing Christian cult crap just so you can sleep with men?
Pretty much, yeah.
You. Now stick that up your ass. No homo.
Man. Number one, I appreciated that Granddad says, okay. When he asks, he says, okay. It's easy. Once you have accepted, it's, again, University of Virginia, double major in psychology and history, minor in African American studies. White people do studies for people who join sororities and fraternities. When you go through that hazing process and get beat on and humiliated, a lot of that stuff is kind of homoerotic too. When you go through all that, you have to rationalize it to yourself. You don't want to sound like a fool. It's kind of similar to the sad rationalization of non-white people who are in sexual relationships with white people, and the way that they have to rationalize, no, this white person is not a racist. No, that's incorrect. It's kind of the same thought process. So once you go through all this, and you've kissed a man on stage and all this other foolishness, you have to justify it. And once you've justified it once or twice, it just becomes easier to go along with it. And so I thought that was great that Granddad just says, okay, when he asks, and then it takes him a second to be like, wait a minute, what is going on here? I also want to make sure I don't forget that previous clip when Granddad tells Huey and Riley to go home and go in his underwear drawer and get a roll of quarters. He has $200 in quarters. That should get them through the week. I also thought that was homoerotic because $200 in quarters, I assumed they would be in a roll. To be digging through someone's underwear drawer for rolls of quarters, kind of homoerotic. Yeah, you can think about that. I could be incorrect, but I think that's also homoerotic. also wanted to point out, and it stood out pretty significantly to me in this episode, and it's a running theme in the Boondocks. We've touched on it before. And I guess for people who are listening, maybe first time, this is the third program that we've done on the Boondocks. So if you're a Boondocks fan, you can go back in the archives and you can hear some of the other programs to see, what similarities we've touched on, new themes perhaps. I think the other two were both in May, so you won't have to go back too far. But it's a consistent theme in the Boondocks. And it's relevant to the second episode that we're going to discuss today and to the earlier broadcast that we had today on Sunday, June 27th. White women are allowed to be very attractive in the Boondocks. It happened in the episode last week, Pause. Tyler Perry's assistant is a white woman, very significant. Tom's wife, Sarah. White women consistently are allowed to be attractive in the Boondocks. Black females in the Boondocks are not allowed to be attractive. If you look at most of the black female characters in the Boondocks, they tend to be overweight. Something tends to be wrong with them. If the black female is attractive, she invariably is a prostitute, a whore, or crazy, or all of the above. And if you think back, season 2, Attack of the Killer Kung Fu Wolf V, Luna, and even the name Luna, suggesting lunatic, lunar. She's very attractive, but she's crazy. The episode last week, Pause, there's a very attractive black female character in the film, but she is a prostitute. If you go all the way back to season 1, as again, the whole body of work, if you go all the way back to season 1, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? I think it's Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Very attractive female, but she's a prostitute. Running theme in the Boondocks. They do not have attractive non-white characters on the Boondocks. And if they are attractive, they are way, 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 way flawed characters, which I also think is very homoerotic, homosexual. Let me see. The last thing I guess I'll touch on with this, I did like how the Pause episode, it really shows you how a system, everything reinforces the overall objective of the system. All of the components of the system reinforce the overall objective of the system. I felt like entertainment and religion worked together to produce the overall objective, homosexual behavior. Tyler Perry's character, he used granddad's desire of sexual intercourse. He used that, and he used religion. This is sanctioned by God. God wants to do this. They had all the photos of Jesus all over. It was tons of them, and crucifixes. It really showed the synthesis of a system, and I think that's a key aspect of racism, white supremacy, that they can use any and everything to help push the overall agenda of racism, white supremacy, and in the smaller objectives that, of course, push the overall objective of white domination, but smaller objectives. So if it's pushing homosexual activity on black people, you can have other aspects of the system work together to push that. So if it's entertainment, you have Tyler Perry, you have I believe someone said Martin Lawrence and Jamie Foxx are supposed to be doing a film where they're in a dress and blah, blah. I mean, you all know tons of these films where black people are in a dress. Laws, you can change laws so that this is seeming to be more acceptable because laws reflect that this is more acceptable. Proposition 208 in California, things of that nature. Prisons, pushing more people into prison because they don't have jobs, so on and so forth. Or again, changing laws so that you can have more black people in greater confinement to control their sexual behavior. Every component of the system works to enforce and to accomplish the overall objective of the system. I thought that was great that was highlighted, or at least for me, that was a key aspect of last week's episode of the Boondocks. Again, I guess my parting shot would be, it's real easy to beat up on Tyler Perry. It's really easy to beat up on any black male in the system of white supremacy. And not new. Like I said, tons of people, even Spike Lee, everybody, takes their shots at Tyler Perry. I wouldn't have a raised eyebrow. I probably would have been a lot less suspicious if there wasn't so much homosexual content in the Boondocks, and especially this season, there's been a ton of it. We commented already on the story of Jimmy Rebel. That was episode 4 of this season. But again, look at those photographs. Those photographs are representative of all 3 seasons of the Boondocks, and they've had so much of this material that it's hard for me to believe that they just wanted to make a critique of Tyler Perry. I suspect that this could have just been an excuse to insert more homosexual content. To make that point, as I segue to tonight's episode, I'll finish that one up and get folks on the phone, and I should be able to keep my time limit. I will play a sound clip from one of the previous episodes to again show that this is a trend representative of the entire body of work on the Boondocks.
He's still punked out.
Home is over home. Home is over home. Home is over home. Do the home man. Do the home man. Do the home man. Do the home man. You never catch a wrist. Home with no beard. Cause bitches ain't shit. This on my crew is sick. Her bunch of knuckles.
He is alright.
Oh, yes and yes. Nigga, we hating on them hoes like we take the biz. Bitch, can't you see? Fall back away from me. Me and my niggas. Yes, in the VIP. Now bump it to the left and bump it to the right. Cause when you do the homie, nigga, got to do it right.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
Home is over home. Do the homie. Do the homie. Do the homie. Do the homie. Cause bitches be trouble, be having niggas teeth. You tricking on that hoe and your niggas ain't eat. And she pushing your way, spending all your cash. Your homie got shot up while you was in that ass.
Homies over homies. Homies over hoes. Homies over hoes. Homies over hoes. Do the homie. Do the homie. Do the homie.
Do the homie.
Oh, it's so hot.
Context of white supremacy, Gus T Renegade, as I said, indicative of the whole body of work. I didn't know I had this many sound clips from the Boondocks. Like this third episode that we've done on the Boondocks, I'll knock in one more, and then I'll hop to tonight's episode, A Date with the Booty Warrior.
Got up this morning, things weren't working right. I said I wanna make a change, I said I wanna fight. Obama walked up and said, yes, we can. I said I wanna ride your nuts, cause I think you're the man. Now I'm big riding Obama, Obama. Now I'm big riding Obama, Obama. Now I'm big riding Obama, Obama. Now I'm big riding. Dick riding for tomorrow, dick riding for today, dick riding for the straight, dick riding for the gay, dick riding for America, dick riding for rock. It's okay to ride that dick, just as long as it's for rocks. And now we're dick riding.
Man, entire body of work. Okay. The Homies Over Hoes, that's from season 2. Dick Riding for Obama, that is episode 1 from season 1. That episode ostensibly didn't have anything to do with homosexual behavior. Again, just making the point, I feel like they push a lot of homosexual humor. 909 says all the time, this is pushed as satire. After a while, I don't know if this is satire or not. To me, this almost seems like we're just pushing homosexual jokes, homosexual humor, just for the sake of putting homosexual content on the screen. Tonight's episode, A Date with the Booty Warrior. Again, I hope people are listening to this episode from the main page on Blog Talk Radio so that you can see the photographs that are in the description for this program. Some of the photographs are from tonight's episode. Not all, but some of the photographs are from tonight's episode. Man, this episode, Mr. Nero, he called in yesterday and he said that he felt Jersey Girl, there was an element of pedophilia there with the Boondocks, and especially tonight, I felt pedophilia. Number one, just because of the amount of homosexual content that's in the cartoon. Now, I can hear people saying this is not a children's cartoon. This is an adult cartoon. It comes on at 11:30 p.m. Adult Swim is on the screen. This is clearly meant for adults. I could halfway ride with that, but no. Number one, it's a cartoon. Children generally watch cartoons. I know a lot of adults do as well, but children are drawn to animated television, animated films. Justice has seen some of the Boondocks, and she just recently turned 11. That's number one. Number two, I mean, a lot of kids watched this. A lot of kids watched the Boondocks when it was a cartoon strip. They naturally migrated to when it hopped to television. It's got, you know, a lot of rappers in it. Mos Def has been in it. Busta Rhymes has been in it. Just tons of people that I think a lot of kids would be drawn to this cartoon. That's number one. Just the episode, and because I said this before, and the fact that the main characters are children. These are the main characters in the film. I suspect that is Aaron McGruder's voice is Huey, excuse me. I suspect that's Aaron McGruder's voice, and I again touched on what is that saying that Aaron McGruder is voiced through a black child, a black 10-year-old child who is voiced by a black female. Very strange, very homoerotic, and with tonight's episode, pedophilia was just, man, all over the place. For people who did not see tonight's episode, and I did send it, everybody who emailed me, I did send the link so you could download it. I know one person said they had some difficulties watching it. If you get VLC, the VLC player for PCs, you should be able to watch it with no problem. But yeah, tonight's episode, for people who did not see it, A Date with the Booty Warrior, Tom Dubois, who is married to a white woman, he volunteers to take a group of kids, including Huey and Riley, on this trip to jail. It's against parody of the Scared Straight program, which way long time ago, where they take kids to prison to try to scare them into behaving and doing the right thing. But they call it Scared Stiff. I thought that was some more gay humor being inserted. The pedophilia aspect was just, it was rampant in tonight's episode. The kids being in this environment and having these adults talk to them about raping other men, raping other males, raping other males, raping other males. There's several lines where they are talking about the sanctity of these young kids' anuses. Just really, and I would have sound clipped that specifically, those lines that I thought were really, in my view, some veiled pedophilia being expressed in the verbiage. But I didn't have time, but I did make some sound clips. I will play one right now and offer a few thoughts on this one before I open the phone lines up to hear other people's thoughts on tonight's episode. But this is sound clip number 1 from tonight's program.
I like this little nigga, but you left one thing out, little nigga. Show of hands, how many people ever raped a man?
Pause.
How many people ever been raped by a man?
Again.
All of them, 100%. You can't get no higher than that, nook. You step in here, you get raped. Right up the brown eye, baby. I raped a few niggas myself. I ain't really enjoy it. Not that much. It felt good to the though. I ain't let that nigga kiss me or nothing, but I did tear that ass out, nigga. I ain't gonna lie about it. But that's what the man's oppressive system did to me.
I want to back up here, make sure I take my time and pull out all the notes. Number one, I do have a concern with the Boondocks because this is the second time I feel like they have been making fun of real-life black victims of racism, white supremacy. Now, we didn't have a show about it, but I did share my thoughts about the episode Smoking with Cigarettes, where they were making fun of the 7-year-old black male who stole his mom's car. That was a real black male. This happened in Florida, 2008, where they did a whole episode demonizing this 7-year-old black male. This is the second time where they're making fun, at least the second time where they're making fun of a real-life victim of racism, white supremacy. The sound clip that began tonight's episode, as I said, got to give credit, Miss Jones. She mailed me that clip just a couple hours ago. I didn't know anything about it. But there's a real person who was going around talking about booty. Booty is more important than water. He said this. You can get it on YouTube. I might play it again before I go to the phones. But he says, you know, booty, and he's talking about males. He's very clear about that. Raping other males, most likely other black males, is more important than food, more important than anything. That's what to do in prison, rape these other guys. Making fun of this. Number one, direct violation of what is in Mr. Fuller's code book. Homosexual activity is not something that should be spoken about in jest. It's not something that should be trivialized. It's not something that is funny. Mr. Nero brought that comment up today about someone saying that that's not funny. This is not funny. This is not funny at all, particularly to be in a system that is designed to cage black males, to have black males in greater confinement, that is designed to push them towards homosexual, anti-sexual conduct. I just don't think, it's not just, I don't think it is correct at all to make this a joke. This is something that we will, this will just be how we get our laugh off for this week's episode of the Boondocks. I don't think that's funny at all. Now, it could be a critique in the same vein as Tyler Perry, and that's why I said for someone to take the stance that this is a serious critique of society and a serious critique of racism, white supremacy, for me, you lose your authenticity when you continue to, everything is presented in the guise of a joke. That's why I said before, I think it's problematic when you have entertainers and comedians being so-called activists or what have you. It's difficult because it's hard to know when they're serious and when they're telling a joke. I don't want to say the person's name, but I was thinking of a specific black male who is a comedian and also a so-called activist. It's problematic because it's hard to tell when you're being serious and when you're making jokes. And that, I would say, the Boondocks, bang, fits them to a T. It's hard for me to tell if they are presenting this episode that is ostensibly a critique of Tyler Perry dressing up as a female and parading all this homosexual activity around, or even tonight's episode, if they're saying that this is a critique of the prison industrial complex and all of the homosexual activity that's rampant there. It's hard for me to say that this is a serious critique when it's presented as a joke. And particularly a joke at the expense of black males. I don't think that's correct at all. And they have a pattern of doing this throughout the Boondocks. That was one. Number two, the pedophilia. At the very beginning of the episode, the black male that goes to sodomize the white man, he breaks into his home to sodomize him. They were spoofing, I guess, a real television show where they try to catch pedophiles. Blatant pedophilia. They assumed he was there to rape a child. Blatant pedophilia. That's why I said this is not funny. I don't think this is the type of content that you just want to make light of. I'm paused for a second because Dr. Welsing brought up all of this, and Miss Jones, who sent me the sound clip tonight, she referenced Dr. Welsing in the clip when she emailed it to me. But Dr. Welsing, in addition to talking about this very subject matter and the so-called homosexual activity and the sagging pants, he mentioned that as well in the sound clip. She also mentioned the Atlanta child murders. that was my very first show here at Blog Talk Radio was the Atlanta child murders. I will be doing another program. Surprising, because I didn't think I was going to be going back to that. But a black male, contacted me who has done extensive research on that, and he came to the same conclusion as Mr. Chet Detlinger did, who was on the show. First show I did here at Blog Talk Radio, that he thinks what was happening there was the dissolution of a child pornography ring, and they were trying to get rid of witnesses. He's researched it extensively. That's the conclusion he came to, and he said he wanted to come and share his information on the program. That will be later this week. Should be this weekend, I believe, Saturday. Actually, if I have computer access, that program will be on July 4th, intentionally on July 4th. But side note, at any rate, okay, so pedophilia, got that. Riley wants to go to jail. Make sure I get that. Give me 5 and I'll be done. We'll go to the phone lines. This whole episode, them going to jail, Riley and Huey have been fighting at school. The white principal says he can either expel both of them, or they can go to jail and participate in this scared stiff program, double entendre, I'm sure intended. Riley wants to go to jail. Again, I think this is us in the system of white supremacy rooting to go to jail. I've said that before, just doing an analysis of the Boondocks characters. Riley is going to jail. He is a delinquent. He does not have an understanding of racism, white supremacy. He's thinking that he's a thug and idolizing Thugnificent and Gangstalicious. He's going to jail. He's cheering, let's go to jail, let's go to jail, let's go to jail. They get to jail, and in addition to the clip that I just played with, just rape. In addition, this is sound clip number 2 from tonight's broadcast. A date with the Booty Warrior.
Okay, so the list so far is bitches, white bitches, Asian bitches, Brazilian bitches, East Indian bitches, West Indian bitches, Puerto Rican bitches, broadband internet porn, KY jelly condoms, Viagra, People magazine, and Alaskan bitches.
Isn't there anything else you guys want? You may never get this chance again. Anything else?
I thought that's what the People magazine was for. Nah, nigga, I'm gonna knock that down too.
What about an end to the outsourcing of prison labor to private companies?
I like that. Yeah, that's not bad. Or what if we keep doing the work, but they pay us in white bitches? Yo, that's crazy. Man, white bitches. I love it.
I said this is relevant to today's discussion, broadcast number 1 from Sunday, June 27th, because the inmates in the Boondocks episode tonight, they were mostly concerned with sexual activity, either raping other black males or having sexual intercourse with white women, and that was a major part of the discussion earlier on, sex with white women. Very interesting. The confusion of non-white people, man, oh man. Discipline, I touched on that at the very beginning. Dr. Welsing's comment about our lack of discipline with regards to sex. I just thought it was embarrassing. I thought it was totally embarrassing that it was presented these black males had no other agenda at all other than sexual gratification. They didn't have any other wants, any other demands, sexual gratification. The one character, he didn't want anything but to rape Tom. That was it. He didn't have anything else that his heart desired. Just a sad state of affairs for black people that we're that confused. And I believe I've heard Mr. Williams say that frequently non-white people will become consumed with the second strongest motivating force amongst people, sexual intercourse. White people never lose track of number one. Number one, the strongest motivating force amongst people, white supremacy, dominating people that they say are not white. I thought that was illustrated in a most embarrassing way. And again, all of this could just be Aaron McGruder giving his assessment of what he sees in black people. Maybe he just sees a rampant amount of homosexual conduct amongst black people. That could be true. I know I certainly saw a lot of that in Atlanta. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Even if that is the case, though, he seems to be making light of this. So I don't know. But I at least throw that out there. Maybe this is just his honest assessment of the conduct of black people right now, and maybe he's on point. At any rate, so the white chicks, that I just thought that was really disgraceful. Last two comments, black people are totally worthless. I thought that was a great illustration and right on point. The white children who are in the prison being held captive, the white children escape when the black male inmates are having their discussion about getting white chicks. Sexual intercourse with white chicks, they are totally distracted and the white people escape. They're only left with Huey and Riley. When they find out, they don't seek to go and track down the white kids. They give up. And they even say, well, wait a minute, we still got these two black kids. Why don't we just hold them as hostage? They know black people are totally worthless. They know they have no bargaining chips at all with black males. Even black male children are totally worthless.
Double whammy.
In the system of white supremacy. I thought that was a great illustration of our pathetic state. Also, it was quick. I actually had enough time to watch tonight's episode twice before the program. It was quick, but when they're going to the prison, Uncle Ruckus says, we're going to the Willie Horton prison. And I was like, oh my gosh, just again, making fun of real life victims of racism, white supremacy. Willie Horton has been mentioned before on this program. You should know who that name is. Specifically, he was mentioned in the program with Robert Perkins about his book, Texas Tough, The Rise of the American Prison Empire. That Willie Horton turned the whole election. You should know who that, oh, wait a minute. You should know who Willie Horton is, and you should know who Willie Horton is. But yeah, they threw that in tonight as well. Did I have anything else that I wanted to make sure I got to from tonight's episode? Yeah, I guess I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with that. I think I pretty much stayed right on target as well. I'm comfortable with that. I will go to the phone lines. I do want to play the clip that Miss Jones sent me. Hope folks got an opportunity to hear it. I'll play it again really quick, and as soon as I finish with this clip, I will go to the phone lines. Everybody that called in, I will get you on the phone line right now. So this is the clip from Miss Jones. Thank you for sharing. Excellent addition to the program.
But when lockup visited Kentucky State Penitentiary, we met Fleece Johnson, a longtime inmate who practices a very different kind of homosexuality.
Well, we have sexual desires, right? So you got a bunch of men locked up in one place. All of them get hard. All of them horny. All of them got sexual desires. So what are they going to do? We won't let them have a woman. They're going to have each other. Somebody's going to have to give us some booty. And it's just that simple.
The most memorable story that the police told us was about the place and importance that booty has in a maximum security penitentiary. And he went on about it and on about it.
In his prison, booty was more important than food. Booty, a man's butt. It was more, I'm sorry, it was more booty, having some booty, was more important than drinking water. I like booty.
Johnson went on to tell our crew how he used to satisfy his sexual desires, especially during the 1970s and 80s, when he was most active and prison security was more lax.
When I see one, and he looks good to me, when I go see him, I'll say, you come here. I'll tell you what, I like you, and I want you. And we can do it the easy way or the hard way. So the charge is yours. And it was always yes.
Johnson also had a warning for the new generation of inmates. They might be asking for trouble from old-timers.
You know, they got this thing where they save their pants. past their butt. It's a style. They call it some sort of gangster style. You know, it's sexy to us, right? And see, but they wasn't proud for this, right? So you shake your pants in her, man, somebody be up in your butt, you know, and it's just that simple.
Johnson even let the lockup crew know that when he was in his prime, they wouldn't be safe from his advances either.
If y'all had been in her back then in them days, and as much as I like booty, I probably felt one in y'all butt as y'all was walking past me and dared you to say. I'm not no shame in my game. This is nothing that I'm ashamed to admit. I am what I am. I'm a warrior too, you know, so let that be known. I'm a warrior.
Monsters and monstrosities. Monsters and monstrosities. And I want to make sure that's very clear. If people didn't hear the audio, if it was distorted, he said, I'm a warrior. He said it twice. I'm a warrior.
Double whammy.
Going to the phone lines. This will be the one time I do want feedback about the images specifically. I hope people complied with my request as I open the phone lines. If you could just let me know, did you comply with the request to listen with these images on the screen, and any thoughts that you have about the images that have been flashing on the screen? Everybody that called in, your line is open. Everybody that called in.
Would that be me?
Cancel. I can hear two people. Okay, got everybody. Everybody that called in, your line is open. It should be 5 of you.
I'm on, but I don't have any comment right now.
Okay, I can hear you, sir. Truthfully, since we had a lot of males on, are there any females on the line?
I'm here.
Bang, got one. Any other females on the line? Okay, I'll assume it's just you. I would prefer to start with females since we had tons of males today. But the photos, that's what I want to start with, and then you all can, anything you want to share. Are you watching the photos? Have you looked at the photos flashing across, and if so, comments or feedbacks on the photographs?
I did. They were quite disturbing, and to see that that's from 3 episodes, wow. I haven't even been
no, that's from 3 seasons.
I'm sorry, yeah, that's what I meant, from 3 seasons. That's disturbing, yeah. And then the one that was supposed to be Tyler Perry with the big sagging breast, and yeah, and then the other one of the female, like, licking the guy. Yeah, the images of females were definitely nothing positive at all, and then it was disturbing to see graphic images of black males and sexual relationship to each other, yeah. But what you mentioned earlier as well, that clip you played where Granddad was talking about going to Hollywood, I noticed repeatedly he talked about testicles and rectums, which are both, even though he was talking about a monkey, associated with homosexual activity. I mean, the thing about having to do what you have to do in Hollywood, a few years ago, I was getting into songwriting. And I remember being very frustrated because I kept running into this thing where male executives and producers kept trying to hit on me and come at me, you know, in a sexual way before any work got done. And I was speaking to a friend of mine who owns a label about that. And I was just like, man, you know, it's frustrating and it's disgusting. And he was like, well, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's what you're going to have to deal with. He said, and even if you're a male, you still have to deal with it from males in the industry. And I was like, God, well, aren't there some females in the industry, you know, who might be able to work with you so you don't have to go through that? He said, oh, they're going to want the same thing, too. I was like, oh, my God, it's hopeless. Yeah, that's very much a part of that industry.
I took a look at the images on the site for a while. I mean, I should say just for a little while, because some of that stuff, I don't know, like it has it's not too constructive to keep viewing repeatedly, if you ask me. But I remember when I first seen on episode 1, when I think it was, I don't know the name of the episode, but it was on it. It had the scene where the two black males was kissing. And I remember when I seen it the first time, it was like a shock. I couldn't recall any kind of movie or anything else that I had seen where I actually seen that acted out. And I remember I was like, wow. I mean, I remember thinking I was like, damn, I can't believe somebody would put this on screen. But then I remember on episode 2, during that same season, or maybe on that same episode, it did try to stress how it was incorrect. Like I know Huey kept on getting at Riley, saying it was and saying that he was getting exposed to some incorrect stuff, and then Riley was saying it was gross and ill and all that. But I agree. If you look at the whole body of work, whether it's intentional or not, I think it does have the impact of trying to normalize such images. Such images just basically meaning like anti-sexual behavior.
Hello, Gus.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Very, very disturbing. I think I've seen the Thugnificent one where they ended up in that little secluded place, and then they were kissing or whatever, but I can't remember. Yeah, it was just disturbing. You know how you turn away from something that you don't want to see, that's just nasty. You don't want to see, it's just gross. Yeah, yep. I just avert my eyes. I was like, wow, that's you know what I mean? That's just too gross. And to have that kind of reaction, for myself, it's interesting that I don't want to see it. Like, it's just not something I want to see. And I don't see how he can draw that stuff, man. Just sitting there drawing page after page of it. I don't know. It's definitely like Jerry Springer, I've seen Jerry Springer try to say, well, we just put these people on to, so you can see the other side of society and whatnot. But I know he tries to argue that, he does it for his specific reasons. But I noticed that Dr. Welsing says that, no, it's basically demonizing black people, black defamation.
It's almost like what Tom's character is trying to, on this most recent episode, The Booty Warrior, it was trying to almost give you a step-by-step of how to be all right with such behavior. It's like, well, Tom, he's even able to look at the gay movies on TV and not turn away, and he's reacting to this and all this. It's just like, what is that about?
Yeah, what was he said something. He said he said something when he was sitting on the couch. He said he gave a name and he said he's something else.
Sean Penn.
He said Sean Penn. Yeah, that's what I thought he said. I can't remember what movie that could have been from though, like where he was, gay.
But it was interesting because he was trying to just imply, like, I'm not even seeing this anti-sexual behavior. I'm actually can appreciate the actor's quality, his ability to perform in this movie. Not even, the incorrect behavior is not even registering. It was like his character was trying to emphasize that with that. I feel with that Sean Penn line.
Was that like Brokeback Mountain movie or something like that? That's what I kind of thought of.
I'm not sure.
Know who. I know a famous actor. I don't know though. But he said Sean Penn. I was like, oh, what movie was that supposed to be? Because he said gay porn, And I know Sean Penn doesn't, you know, unless he was talking about Brokeback Mountain. But, yeah. They were singing It's All Right to Cross-Dress for Christ at that one little musical performance they did in Pause. And I've heard black people try to justify what he does, and that's how and I've heard them just to try to say that it was, you know, it was for you know, for religion or for some good message. So I definitely heard that before.
That's interesting. I haven't really viewed any of the Tyler Perry flicks, but I didn't recognize, I guess, you know, that there was such a religious theme to it. I think he does have some titles called, you know, with the word praying and whatnot, if I'm remembering. But yeah, I mean, that I feel like he really, Aaron McGruder on that episode really tried to tie it in to, like, you know, he's justifying a lot of this stuff, or, you know, selling it hard, tying it to religion. It's real interesting.
Yeah, there are always religious themes in Tyler Perry's movies, pretty much. Like, for example, in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, you know, she's ready to drown her husband in the bathtub after he's done her wrong, and she's sitting on the edge smoking a cigarette, but then she goes and prays. There's usually always a church scene in there with all the other stuff, and I guess he says they're supposed to teach lessons about redemption and whatever else. You know, Medea smokes weed. She used to be a stripper, but she quotes scripture all the time with a gun. Yeah, that's a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I'm kind of done with Tyler Perry movies myself. But yeah, that's pretty much a formula for almost every one of his movies. So.
Did you see Pause 818?
No, not yet. You know what? It's like I kind of prefer listening to the summaries on the cows. I don't like to watch a lot of stuff like that. I don't like to spend my time watching a lot of it. Just because the homosexual assault is in so many other places, just on regular television, it just kind of be like overload for me. You know, even like the other caller said, watching the slideshow with the pictures after a while, it's like, okay, let me look at something else. Yeah, I don't like that image just beating in my head, because we get assaulted with that from so many other places right now. You don't even have to have cable.
Yeah,
think about the impact. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Gus. Go ahead.
I got my hour. Feel free.
I was just going to say, I've never seen a Medea film or whatever. Never seen one. Only heard about them through black females. And, yeah, that's just all I was going to say.
I found it interesting, you know, like you said, when you look at a person's body of work, the things that they're involved in, and even in things in their real life. I was watching a video on YouTube, Anthony Browder, I think, and he did a review of Precious. The interesting thing I found, that was a movie that both Tyler Perry and Oprah, I guess they produced, you know, they promoted it. You would see them on TV promoting the commercials and whatnot for it. When you just look at, he did a breakdown of Sapphire, where she came from, who financed her and helped her with that book. Look at the guy who directed it, the dude from Monsters Ball, can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. But him, her, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Monique, when you just think about at least all 5 of those people in the movie that had a connection to the movie, every one of them had at some point been sexually abused or raped. There were a few cases in there of partnerships or relationships with homosexuals and or white people. It just was disturbing to me, but it kind of all made sense when he went through that and profiled all of these people. And, you know, already knowing what I know about Oprah and Tyler Perry and their story, it just struck me as kind of weird and twisted and a lot of evidence of a lot of confusion, that these people held this movie as redemptive or hopeful in some sort of way. I bought the bootleg from somebody and put it in, and it didn't work, and I never bothered trying to go back and watch it after that, especially just after hearing Creed's breakdown of it and other people's. But it is really interesting when you have people that have been victimized in that way to see the product that's put out by them.
I think the gentleman who directed Monsters Ball and Precious and all that, I think his name is Lee Daniels, the blackmail. Yeah. I think he also did The Woodsman. I'm just bringing that up because I mentioned that yesterday with Kevin Bacon. Pedophilia is in that too. I don't know if you all want to check that out, but Mos Def is in that film. Talk about body of work. Mos Def is in that film. Eve is in that film, Kevin Bacon, and he is a ex-con. He was arrested and in prison for pedophilia, and he gets out, and as I said on the broadcast with Dr. Kevorkian yesterday, he ends up getting an apartment that's like right across the street from the elementary school. But I think Lee Daniels, he was also intricately involved with The Woodsman as well.
Gus, I just remembered what he said about Lee Daniels in this presentation. I think he is currently in a homosexual relationship with a Jewish male. He is raising his niece and nephew. I believe they're his sister's children. He goes on to say that they have never read Roots, but they've read The Diary of Anne Frank so many times. I don't remember if he made a reference to they might as well be Jewish children or something, but basically they know more about Jewish culture and things than they do their own. It just, the stuff I heard in that video, it was really disturbing. It just made me, I really never want to see anything Lee Daniels produces. It's just a lot of confusion. I think he was sexually abused as a child as well.
The actor, I don't know if you've seen the Friday, the second one. I think it was the second one. It's only two of them, right? There was a character named Pinky. Did you see that?
I did see. You'd have to tell me which character was Pinky.
Pinky, he owned the CD store. It was called Pinky's.
Okay. He had a Jerry curl?
Yeah. He was in this episode tonight. That was the same actor.
Who was he voicing?
The one that said, did you just say what I was trying to say, but smarter?
Okay.
Yeah, he that was him.
Wow.
Yeah, he was Pinky in that movie. I just thought that was interesting since you guys were talking about the body of work. And I wanted to say something about booty. Now, this, as far as I knew, I could be incorrect, but just my thinking was that only a female had a booty. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even imagine a man calling his you know what I'm saying, using that to reference his backside. And for Tom to be reciting that, this is my booty, and even the real life prisoner talking about booty, that's just so far from my understanding. That to me is just on a whole nother level.
It's like the pirates, stealing the treasure. It's the booty.
Yeah, when I think of booty, that's what I think of, like, war, spoils of war, or a nicely shaped female backside. You know what I'm saying? Nothing to do with no man. I couldn't even fathom that. That's not where my association even. It's no area in my mind associated with man and booty. But he did say he was a. I was gonna say he did say he was a. I was gonna say he did say he was a warrior.
Mm-hmm. The title of the episode. That's what I was gonna say. I think both of those, the etymology of that word is still there, because I think in this episode and with the sound clip that Miss Jones, again, thank you. That was an excellent share. It was very much about violence and conquest, and this is how I show my dominance and my conquest over another person, whether it's, we got to go the hard route and I have to beat you down and then, rape you, or whether you're going to acquiesce voluntarily. Either way, I'm going to get the booty, the prize. I think both the etymologies of that word are still there in a real twisted way, but I think they're still there. And it goes back to what I said on the program Monday with white people and having sex with a non-white person. The non-white person is the booty. I don't think it's, I think there is some aspect of the color envy that white people have, but I think more than anything, it is practicing racism, white supremacy, and exercising my dominance. For white people, several folks have come through here and talked about how white people, the height of their sexuality is pedophilia, sexual intercourse between someone who is clearly weaker and subordinate to you. I think that's exactly the way white people look at having sex with a non-white person. I'm getting to express my dominance in a sexual manner over someone who is weaker and subordinate to me. I think that provides a huge chunk of the sexual pleasure that white people get from having sex with non-white people. I could be incorrect, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. That is like you said, it's a power thing. And I think Back of the Bus brought up the violence and sex, that type of thing in movies. I've seen movies where, the so-called hero, he kills up a bunch of people, and the leading lady is so turned on that right after, the blood is spilled, that's the sex scene where she just can't resist no more.
Mm-hmm. I think that was in the Boondocks, both episodes. There was a lot of violence around a lot of the sexual intercourse that took place in both episodes. I would say even with Tyler Perry, it was a lot of one of those pictures, like he's violently grabbing Granddad in one of those photographs. Yeah, I think it goes all the way. I think it goes all the way to sex and violence.
Oh, that picture of Granddad being grabbed up by Ma Dukes just flashed past. Yeah, he had him in a pretty violent grip.
And even, like I said, body of work. You can go all the way back to season 1 with the story of Gangstalicious. He's taped up Gangstalicious, and he's got his gun out. He's ready to shoot him, but he goes to kiss him. That kiss happens before he gets ready to shoot him. I think it's a consistent theme.
Do you know where Aaron went to school?
I do not. I don't really know a whole lot about his personal background. Someone just told me that he has a white parent recently. That was news to me.
Wow, it's all coming out. Another thing I found funny is that, if you were watching this on TV, the part when they were, they said, that's covered in bitches. He said, one of them said, somebody said white bitches, and then the other guy said that's covered in bitches. And then I think it would have been a commercial at that point, and when they came back, when they came back from the commercial, they were still talking about, females and that they were still talking about women. You know what I'm saying? It was that's like all that they had on their mind. I found that interesting. That wow, and I thought I thought about the show, earlier show. I was like, wow, that's when she get on. When she get on, you can't get off. That's it, man. Anything that you was trying to accomplish before that subject came up, and you might as well just throw that away. You done brought up white girls. Oh man.
Yep. I thought it was, like I said, I don't believe in coincidence. I thought it was quite apropos that they had so much focus, tonight's broadcast, the black males in greater confinement had so much focus on having sex with white women that was their undoing. That's how they lost all the hostages, trying to figure out how to get sex with white women.
That must have happened. Was that in the second half of the show? Would you say?
Say that one more time.
Would you say that the conversation that the inmates had about white women, apparently, did that happen during the later half of the Boondocks episode tonight?
I think it was. Yes, it was. Yes, during the second half of the episode, where they had the discussion about the.
Okay, what happened after Tom had started running away and his the guy pulled the shank on him and then he did the move on him and then he ran away? Like, what took place in episode?
They talked about sex. They talked about sex with other guys, and they talked about sex with white women, and the white children got away while they were having this discussion, and after the inmates realized that the white kids had got away, they volunteered to give up, and that was the end of the episode. That's pretty much it. The folks that got to see tonight's episode, is that an accurate assessment of what happened in the second half?
Yep. So all they did was talk about what form of white women they were going to get and how. So yeah, it's pretty sex. But you said it better than I did. It was like, yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, you said it better.
I can sound clip this for you in 30 seconds, so you'll know exactly what happened during the second half of the broadcast.
Okay, so the list so far is bitches, white bitches, Asian bitches, Brazilian bitches, East Indian bitches, West Indian bitches, Puerto Rican bitches, broadband internet porn, KY jelly condoms, Viagra, People magazine, and Alaskan bitches.
Isn't there anything else you guys want? You may never get this chance again. Anything else?
I thought that's what the People magazine was for. Nah, nigga, I'm gonna knock that down too.
What about an end to the outsourcing of prison labor to private companies?
I like that. Yeah, that's not bad. Or what if we keep doing the work, but they pay us in white bitches? Yo, that's crazy. Man, white bitches. I love it.
There you go. That's the second half of the... And you even heard when he said ruckus, that was when they were escaping. That was the whole second half. That's what they talked about, and eventually the hostages escaped while they were having that dialogue.
So now that was their I guess their request of, demands to release the hostages or something, or how did that?
Yes.
How did they start talking about? Okay.
Yes, that was the list of hostage demands you just heard. There you go. Nothing else. White chicks. Pretty much. That was cruel. I was going to say, you could pretty much rewind today's broadcast, imagine that happening, and everything else happens while that discussion of white chicks is going on, everything falls apart.
And something I found interesting, I would love to hear your anybody's opinion on. Speaking of a little bit of today's broadcast, it can definitely tie in. Okay, you're in prison. The clip that you put on with the actual prisoner. What's his name?
I didn't even see a name. I don't know if they just referenced him as Booty Warrior or what, but I didn't see a name. I'll look at the YouTube clip and see if I can find it.
No, the clip of the actual guy.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't see his name listed. Like.
Wow.
I'll look while you're sharing.
Yeah, this is something I want us to think about. Now, in that clip, he said that you're in prison. Everybody's horny. Okay. Now, and then earlier they were talking about attraction to white females. To me, that's I don't know. I mean, a man is a man and a woman is a woman. Yes, but it's kind of, for me, if I'm in prison, there's no way that I would be. I don't care what. That's not even it's not even an option. That's the same way I feel about white females. I mean, they were going in on the white woman is the. I can understand some of what was said as far as the white woman, being presented as the most desirable and whatnot. But I was just thinking that, maybe that's another generation. I mean, because it's not even nowhere even close. For me, it ain't nothing. There ain't nothing. All the females all the black females from here to, man, come on. And I just couldn't identify with that. Just like I wouldn't be able to identify with being in prison, and then all of a sudden I just got to do. I don't see that. Do you think that there's any similarity about? Like I said, I know that a woman is a woman, but I just don't see the white woman as anything to be desired. I don't know. I was just wondering, is that like an age thing, or I don't know if anybody have any thoughts on that.
I think she's definitely someone to be avoided. If I'm clear, if you're saying the white female, as far as
are you attracted to white females? Like, is that a possibility that you know what I'm saying?
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just like if you was in prison, is it a possibility that you would, have to get you some booty?
No, sir. Yeah, it's kind of strange to see some of that stuff presented in that way. I think it's it's whether intentional or not, that type of stuff does present the idea as if this behavior is, you call it bad, but tolerate it. Somebody may joke about it, but hey, it's here and get used to it, which is incorrect. But, I think that's the effect that the images and that type of thing have. But, as far as it being correct to do or, normal and all that, that's totally wrong.
For me, it's presented. For me, it's presented that if you were in that situation, you might not be you know, we're not gonna hold you accountable then. I mean, you just was in that position. That's how it's presented to me. Like, if you were in that position, if you were in prison, then, we just can't hold you accountable. I mean, you got lonely and whatnot. Or if you was in the room with a white female and, she was butt naked, we just, dang, that just, we can understand that. I mean, come on. What else you gonna do? That's how I feel like it's presented, and I just don't see it. Ain't no situation. I don't know, but maybe that's just I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Something I was thinking about. Just wanted to put it out there. See what you guys thought.
I just wanted to add one other person called in. 9787. 9787. Your line is open. Are you there?
Yes, I am, Gus. How you doing?
Oh, right on. Chicago, right?
Exactly.
Right on. Glad you could call in, sir. Go. I just put him on. I'm gonna hush. Go ahead.
Yes, I had actually called during the blackmail discussion. I had to leave for a while, but I was on my cell phone, and I do remember that during the conversation, I started asking about how to better interact with black females, and it got diverted into talking about white women. Yeah. So when I saw that on the Boondocks, I was like, oh, that's what we did. I'm sorry, that's how that's how I felt anyway. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that's what we just did.
Hey, Chicago, did you take part in that discussion? As far as the white girls or whatever, were you making comments as far as that situation?
Not really. I had asked about it, and just I'd asked how that if you guys had problems.
Were you the one that said you had a friend that had a white girlfriend? Did you start the conversation?
No, that wasn't me. No.
Oh, that wasn't you. Oh,
no, that wasn't me. No. No.
Yeah.
No, but I had asked about that if you guys had problems talking about white supremacy to your black girlfriends, and he said that there was going to be problems, and then all of a sudden it got into, I don't know how, but it got into white girls, and it got like that for at least 30 minutes. I was like, I ain't asked about how to talk to white women. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I want to play this clip because it's all relative. It's all relative. Thank you for calling in, Chicago.
This is Uncle Ruckus, no relation to him. After much thinking in my mind, I realized that Tiger Woods is not responsible for his latest act. No, he is not. Look here, to be allowed to lay with one white woman is certainly a gift from God up above. But to be blessed with laying with two or more white women, Lord, that is beyond all human comprehension. His damn child nigger brain must have exploded inside his skull. Anyway, this is Uncle Ruckus, sounding off and signing off.
Context of white supremacy. I'm glad you shared that thought, Chicago. How do you want to be referenced? Do you want last four digits, or how do you want to be referenced?
You can call me Shadow.
Shadow, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that because I believe I said the same thing a little further. I said you could substitute our dialogue today, and everything fell apart while the dialogue was going on about white women. Othello, if you will.
And that's the reason why I pointed it out earlier as far as her being the first image that you see for the most part in a sexualized way, as well as in the manner of providing a home, being a homemaker. I'm assuming all of us went to public school, or some of us at least did. I know I did. And even if you didn't, even if you went to private school, I would imagine it still was the same. can you remember the females in your textbooks? What female did you see in your textbook all throughout your education process? Grammar school, from K, I'd say from K through 6.
I mean, I definitely understand the whole programming and everything, as far as us, as the white woman being put on a pedestal and stuff. But
I wouldn't even say a pedestal. I would say as the norm.
Yes.
The standard. See, I don't say that she's considered to be the the ultimate woman. She is considered to be the only woman.
Yes, I could say that, but at least growing up, I've always been attracted to sisters.
Oh, me too.
And the thing that's getting me nowadays is it seems like it's harder for me to get along with sisters, especially being focused on racism, white supremacy. It seems like that's more of a hindrance to getting along with a black woman and not having a job. I may be exaggerating a little bit, but that's what I'm seeing.
Let me just briefly touch on.
Hey, Zero, can I ask a question real quick before you? Just a quick question. Are you talking about females over 35? You talking about? I mean, like what age bracket are you talking about?
As far as what?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
I'm in my 30s. So I'm dating women between 25 and about 35.
Oh, I got a quick question too. Are you?
Can you all? Hey, can I get? I'm sorry. Can I get a quick timeout because somebody else called in? 4503. Are you there?
Hi, Mr. Renegade. This is Jess Jones.
Oh yeah, right on. I gotta give again appreciation because Jess Jones is the one who supplied the clip of the actual inmate. His name is Fleece Johnson. I looked it up. Fleece Johnson. That is the real black inmate who I began the sound clip, but I didn't know anything about him. Jess Jones shared that, so I want to give her appreciation. Big upgrade for the program.
No, I was just I was searching for the Boondocks episode since 6 o'clock, and I just happened upon someone else had that embedded in their clips of the previews of the Boondocks. So the connection had already been made. I just kind of found it, and I didn't know if you had saw it already. But I was just calling in to listen. I know I'm listening on the internet, and in about 8 minutes it's going to get cut off. So I just wanted to just listen in live. Hopefully, it won't be more talk of white women, but it's okay. Had a lot of that today. And, yeah. So, there was something that was mentioned earlier during the men's show that they said that black women are more kind of secretive about their relationships to white men, and I don't necessarily think that's true. Although there are women who have, that's being pushed on black women more these days. But as far as I know, the majority of my black female friends have never dated white men, me included, and so there's no secret. It just doesn't really, and I think the statistics show that. Although that's changing, but I don't think that black women have this obsession with white men as much as black men have an obsession with white women. I'm not trying to bash black men at all for that, but I'm just, pointing that out. I heard that earlier, and I'm like, I don't think that's true. So continue talking about that if you guys want to. So.
I don't know if this means anything, but I'll say it anyway. I drive cab, and I pick up a lot of people. I picked up so many people, I caught a staph infection from somebody once. But, so I do a lot of people. And one thing I have noticed is I have picked up several or taken several, either a black female or a white male to either a motel room or a hotel room, where a non-white person was either waiting for them or was in the cab with them.
Okay.
So that has been my experience, that I have seen some coming to and from motels and hotels, and they're generally pretty quiet in the cab. They're not very talkative. When I have a so-called interracial couple in the back posing as that. That's just been my experience. And I wouldn't say it's in droves, but I have taken a few to and from. And they just seem pretty quiet. Usually people will talk. And I've observed that when I get them in the cab, they're usually very quiet.
Just Jones.
Yes.
Did you see the pause?
I did. I'm not a big Boondocks fan. I just kind of started watching it. I did see pause.
Are you a Tyler Perry fan? Have you seen his movies?
I've seen his movies, but I'm absolutely not a fan. I have a lot of friends who are, though. I think he's, uses a lot of stereotypes and paints really simplistic pictures of black life. I think it's unfortunate because I think there's so many stories that can be told about black people that are dynamic, but unfortunately we don't have the backing, the film industry backing, that, I just see so many, dynamic films white people and all kinds of cultures have, but black film, Tyler Perry, it's always just really simplistic, stereotypical stuff that sells in our communities. And I think it was Mr. Renegade who said that that's just a testament to our state as black, how lost we are, because he's getting all this, play in Hollywood, and it's ridiculous. I think it's really, I don't like Tyler Perry at all.
Well, what I was going to ask you is, they had this one part in the pause where, they were getting ready for the play, and the people that were standing in line to buy the tickets and to get the popcorn and whatnot, all of the women were overweight and all of the men were homosexual. Is that your experience with your friends that like the ones that you said like Tyler Perry? Are they overweight and whatnot?
Well, I'll say my one friend who kind of got mad at me. I was, I held my tongue criticizing Tyler Perry because I knew she was a big fan, but finally I just had to kind of tell her how stupid I think his movies are. This particular friend is overweight, but I don't think that I don't know about that being a factor.
I mean, Aaron McGruder, he definitely it was definitely I don't know the word, but he definitely had a lot of, everybody in the theater and everybody that was in line that was black female was overweight. Every last one of them, the whole theater.
Yeah.
And all of the men except for Riley and Huey they looked gay, scarves around their necks and whatnot. So, right. I mean, that was his perspective, and so I was just wondering, do you think it was valid? I mean, do you think That's all I was just wondering.
I think, and even the homosexual part, male. I had a few homosexual black male friends in my life that I've kind of tried to distance myself from, just because their behavior is just kind of just off the chain and corrupting my mind. And I think that they would be Tyler Perry fans. I think they are Tyler Perry fans. So I don't know. I didn't notice that. I have to go back and look at that.
I noticed that as well.
Just to briefly touch on something before I lose this thought. Not long ago in California, we voted on so-called same-sex marriage. And in this area of the world, black people voted against that, I think like 8-1. I mean, it was a huge number. The number was so big, actually, that the media kind of, jumped on black people for voting that way in such a large measure. It was almost seen as, that something's wrong with us, or that maybe we're homophobic. I mean, a lot of radio, AM radio talk show hosts, touched on it after the measure was voted down. That measure lost by, a narrow margin, and so, which is another reason why it was attributed to us. So, I'm also now very suspicious of the Boondocks playing into the agenda that maybe black people haven't been getting the message that they're supposed to, be in favor of the so-called same-sex marriage, and that they've stepped up the campaign so that the next time this ballot, or the next time it's put on the ballot, that we'll actually vote in favor of it. So, it's going to be interesting to see how blacks vote on it the next time it comes up, because I'm certain it will come back up.
Yeah, I think that's real accurate. Does anyone know, like, how what percentage of white people have contributed to, I guess, in sales or viewings as far as Tyler Perry's success?
I don't know, but the few times I've gone to see his movies, at least one of them in particular, it was quite a large white audience. Not every time, though, but one particular time, and I can't recall which movie it was. For some,
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, for some of his movies to stay at the #1 spot, debut at #1, and stay at #1 for as long as they have, I would imagine there are definitely some white people, enough of them, supporting his movies.
I was thinking about that part in Pause where Granddad was sitting next to Kadeem Hardison and Tyler Perry. Well, the one part that happened when the Tyler Perry character whispered in her ear, and she got up to, she went to go talk to Granddad and said, he wants to see you. And she said, and you won't be needing that, sure. And there was somebody in the background, another character said, he wants him. Like, I found that interesting. That seemed to be pushing that gay. Like, even the people that was, going for the role was gay. Like, why would somebody just out of the background say he wants him? I mean, that was kind of weird. And the assistant. I was wondering what you ladies thought about the assistant. Because she was, well...
She was the standard of beauty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't necessarily view her as, I mean, maybe I didn't look that closely, but I didn't view her as white. I thought she was really maybe light-skinned black woman, but I could be incorrect. But
yeah, me too. It didn't register with me anyway that she was a white female.
Right.
No, she was black. Were you saying she was white, Mr. Nero?
I thought she was a white woman with a tan.
Oh, I didn't think
I thought
she was white
too.
Oh, okay.
I didn't at first. The first time I watched it, I thought she was black, but then when I watched it a couple more times and I really tried to pay attention, I think she's a white person.
Jennifer Beals white or just straight up white?
White person with a tan. Whether natural or unnatural, white person with a tan. White person with a tan.
Was it because of the way she was looking or how she was functioning or what?
The way she looked, the way they drew the character, I thought she was a white person. And they tend not to, like 909, when you were saying that the black females in line for the Tyler Perry, they were overweight and they had consciously overweight. Like they had the one woman, she had like a whole bucket of chicken and all that. Like they did. They tend not to have attractive black females drawn on the Boondocks. That's just a consistent pattern. And if they are attractive, they have major character flaws. And she didn't really have any character flaws. Like she was just there to be the cute assistant. So both in the way that she functioned, the way that they had her behaving, and the way that she looked, I thought she was a white person. Like I can't think of a single black person that they've ever had on the Boondocks, attractive black female that did not have either major character flaws or grossly overweight.
You bring up her eating a bucket of chicken, which in my mind connects it to Precious the film. And I don't know, I'm not sure if Boondocks, like that film, I think it's like I'm confused on whether it's a critique of the black culture or if it's an exploitation for entertainment, for entertainment's sake, rather than critiquing anything. Because I found myself laughing tonight's episode. I was laughing, and I know that rape in any shape or form, be it between men or, is not a laughing matter. And as I'm laughing, I'm realizing that, but still, I don't know if we can look at it as a critique of that or just something to laugh at with not really thinking about what we're laughing at. I don't know.
Has anybody seen a person sitting there eating a bucket of chicken in public? Has anybody ever seen that? Like one person with big thing sitting
Did everyone see the movie Precious?
I did not.
Okay. There's a scene with her eating a bucket of chicken.
I never seen that in person.
Yeah. She spills a bucket of chicken and she eats it in that film.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that in person.
No, I've never seen it in person.
I have to agree with the female caller that the tone of the Boondocks, I don't know if it's because of Gus' assessment that I've noticed it more this season, but it seems like there's less social commentary and more buffoonery to me. There have been a few good episodes, but it seems lately I'm really starting to question the show, and I've always been a fan of it. But I'm starting to see things like she says where, you know, are they critiquing or are they just making fun of us? And I think definitely that Jimmy Rebel one was one I remember people saying that, oh, I think white people might have really enjoyed that show. I knew exactly what they meant when they said that.
I really suspect that Aaron McGruder has just gotten tired of fighting. I think he probably fought a lot, you know, in season 1. Maybe not quite so much in season 2, but I think he fought a lot for certain things in season 1. But I think the brother just may be tired.
This is the last season.
Huh?
Pardon?
This is the last season.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be tired when it's the last round. And Gus said it was pretty consistent from because I haven't seen all of the seasons and stuff. I watched a little here and there. But Gus said it was pretty consistent throughout the seasons.
If he wants to continue to work again in that industry, I suspect that they have reminded him that if you want a long career, there's just certain things you're going to have to sacrifice.
But that's what I'm saying. That's possible. But like, what did they have him change? Like, what is he doing different?
I'd have to go back and watch, you know, every episode from season 1 again. Gus may be able to speak on that.
I'd be interested, Shadow or any of the other folks, if you've seen other episodes, but I think from season 1, I feel like it was more, people felt it was a social commentary. That's what they felt about the Boondocks. Like the episode, The Trial of R. Kelly, social commentary on how pitiful it is that black people are out rallying to support this guy for engaging in pedophilia. The episode, I think the standard bearer for episode 1 was Return of the King. Martin Luther King comes back and he's disgusted with the conduct of black people. I think that was their banner episode for season 1. The season finale, Passion of the Ruckus, where he's praised white Jesus and he goes to heaven and Ronald Reagan is Jesus and his wish is to be a white person. Like, in my view, these episodes had a lot of commentary about black people, and it was surprising how much they were speaking almost directly about racism, white supremacy, and our victimization and our pathology as a result of racism, white supremacy. I don't really see that anymore. Like, it just seems like just making fun of. That's why I was saying, like, I think several people have said that it's hard for me to say, are they critiquing Tyler Perry, or is this just, we're just having a good time throwing gay humor in and it just happens to be at Tyler Perry's expense? Are we critiquing the prison industrial complex and all the rape that happens there and homosexual activity, or is this just going to be fodder for our jokes? Like, I didn't have that sense of ambiguity during season 1. And even last season, the Catcher Freeman episode, I used that photo where he stabs a white person. Like, they go back and they show the slave revolt and the knife goes through the white person's throat. They do a freeze frame on that, so that frame stays on the screen for like, I'll say 15 seconds, which is a long time, TV time. That's a long time for just a freeze frame with a knife through a white person's throat in a slave revolt. Like, just little things like that where I just felt like, oh, this is so clever, and, you know, they're really trying to get something out that's articulating racism, white supremacy. But I just have not felt that this season, with the exception of the first episode. It's a black president, Huey Freeman. I felt that was really solid and really in the same vein. And I think the Red Ball, I think that was also a pretty solid critique. But it's just been a lot of episodes this season where I've just been like, this is just like a lot of homosexual activity, and I'm not really grasping if this is commentary or if this is just foolishness. And again, this is supposed to be the last season, so it might just be, whatever. Let's just do the 15 episodes and call it a season. Call it a series.
And yes, I totally agree with what Gus is saying. That I've noticed that too. And like I said, I don't know if, like you said, if he's been put under pressure, or if he's, like you said, he's just tired of fighting. Because I do imagine that I remember when the first season came out, a friend of mine said, I don't know if this is going to stay on the air too long. Because he's saying things, he's putting out messages that are, that are kind of in some ways counter-racist. Even the Gangsterlicious episode with all the homosexuality, that was something that I had talked to other people about. Like, I started seeing this gay influence in hip-hop, and everybody just kind of shut me down. So when that episode came out, that was like a good way to show it. Like, everybody was having like that duffel bag song that came out. I said, that's a purse. Duffel bag boys or whatever. I know a purse when I see one. And he really made a point of showing that, no, a lot of this stuff that they're putting forward is hip-hop, tough guy culture. It's homoerotic, it seems. And as I look back now, it's getting worse. The jeans are getting tighter. The fashions are everything, to me, hip-hop's getting gayer. That's my opinion. And I thought he was making a commentary on it, but just like Gus said, lately it just seems like a lot of just an excuse to bring that out. And lots of times with TV, they put stuff on there humorously, but it's a way to actually just get it out in front of the public. And the more you're seeing it, the more normalized it becomes. That's my thought on it.
They are masters. I suspect white people who practice racism, white supremacy, are masters at sculpting an image that's going to have a particular effect.
I just feel that at the end of the day, the person that signs the check, he doesn't have to put, he doesn't have to say do this or else. He can drop very subtle hints like, I don't think this is what the sponsors want to see. I don't think I want to pay for that. I think we should go in this direction. Just very subtle things. It's not like he has to sit them down and say, you're going to do this or else. They don't have to do that. Not anyone who signs the check.
Two of those episodes did get banned last season. So, and one of them, I thought that was probably the best commentary episode that they did, the Uncle Ruckus reality show, just in terms of commentary on BET and black people's pathologies in general. Just fantastic episode that got banned. It's on the DVD if you get it, but it never played on television. So and if you listen to the commentary on the DVD, where they're talking about how much stress it was, and they couldn't believe how much they had to argue and fight around this episode and the other one that got banned, and it took 2 years for them to come out with the third season. So I'm sure it definitely seems as though it has been a struggle. Even season 1, I remember they got a lot of flack about the Martin Luther King episode because he said nigger quite a few times. I think they said Nigger was said, I think, over 50 times that episode, and like Al Sharpton protested and all this other stuff. So it has not been easy.
And I seriously wonder if use of the word nigger was such a big deal, because of course they're using nigger plenty this season. But that Martin Luther King episode kind of puts you in a frame of mind of thinking of what are we doing as black people. And I think the BET and the Ruckus show did the same thing, and maybe there was some pressure put like, no, we don't like that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did those banned episodes cost Aaron McGruder anything? Did he lose anything when those episodes got banned?
Good question.
I'm certain they only do 15 episodes a season, and if one of them does not air, I'm certain that has to affect major pocketbooks. I would just think that would have to be the case. I know the other one that got banned, it did eventually play, but for episodes just not air completely, I'm sure that has to have an impact, financial impact.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, that's like when an artist samples some if you don't get that sample, clarified or whatever, yeah, it does come out to the artist's pocket. Like they can't use that song, so yeah, that's left up to the artist. So he used the BET, so I'm just thinking if he didn't get that cleared, he already drew it up. I can see where that could be like, oh, that's your fault, buddy. You should have cleared that before you used their...
Exactly.
And
see, that's my point. So you fighting against racism, and you fighting against black folks, and then it takes you 2 years to get the third season out. You may just be tired.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe. You made a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I remember even they had those episodes on YouTube, and they were very they were very judicious about removing it. It would be on for a day or two, and then they'd remove it, even from YouTube. So you couldn't see it until that DVD came out. I bought the DVD. But yeah, they definitely did not want those 2 episodes being seen.
And animation ain't no joke, man. I mean, you got to do frame by frame. You got to draw that stuff up. Some of the top animators, I remember reading something about them saying how, he didn't have his character's mouths movements mastered. And yeah, that's not hard. I was looking at the credits, and a lot of Asian people work on that show. The timers and to match up the voice with the words and stuff like that. So that's work.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of work. I mean, when you say tired, I mean physically, that stuff is grueling. That animation.
I was just looking at the images roll by, and I saw one of the signs in the background, and it says all marriages are gay. It's the photo where they are at the California, the Proposition 208 or Proposition 8, whatever it is, for the gay marriages. They were at that parade or rally for that, and that's one of the signs in the background. All marriages are gay.
Interesting.
Meaning happy.
It's ironic because, and I hear they do this all over the country and even all around the world. This weekend is like the weekend of the gay parade in Chicago. And I mean, it's a big event every year. The next day they'll put how many people went to the parade, and it seems a media onslaught of this kind of, I guess, propaganda is the only way to call it. And I didn't know that it was, they would do it like simultaneously in other cities. Because we actually have an area in Chicago called Boys Town. And it's filled with you know, gay-owned shops, restaurants. You'll see the rainbow flag sticking out of them, and they actually have, like, I don't know what to call them, like kind of statues coming out of the sidewalk that are rainbow colored. It's something.
Oh man.
Mhm.
Yo, these. I was thinking about the gay lobby. I mean, them people must. I don't know where they're getting their money from, but.
Oh, they got plenty of money.
They getting money from somewhere, man. That money is coming in, man.
Yeah, they have too much influence. Yeah.
You know, I unfortunately picked up a few last night, and they wanted to hear some music, so I put on the Rihanna CD for them to hear, which I, you know, pretty much will. I know the passengers like Rihanna. You know what I mean? They'll all listen to that and not complain. So, but to hear them singing along in the back seat was hysterical. I mean, I was trying to keep a straight face while I was driving, but man, it was hard.
My girlfriend told me that Rude Boy song is very popular in that community. And I had never really listened to the words, but when I thought of it, I'm like, oh, I could see why. Yeah.
Man,
you hear them singing so hard.
I was just thinking about the children. I mean, I heard children. I work with a group of kids, and they were like, "Oh, I love the Boondocks," because this you know, the Pause episode, like Gus said, was so hilarious. Everybody was talking about it, so it kind of drew me in. Where I asked the kids, I said, you know, did you guys see the Boondocks or whatever? And you know, it was the first time I ever asked them about the show. All of them. I'm talking like 11 years old down to, up to, you know, 15, 16, and even the 11-year-olds and the younger, they just love it, man. They love it. They said that's what they say at least. They're like, man, we love the Boondocks.
And I've noticed that the younger kids, they identify with Riley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who they put a skirt on.
Oh, you guys should see these kids out here. I mean, they are floating, man. They are floating around on their tippy toes. They got the tight jeans on, the girl high top. You remember girls used to wear the tights? You know, they wear fitting jeans, and they used to wear like big shoes, Timberlands and stuff. They still dress like that. The boys dress exactly the same, and they be floating.
Where are you?
L.A.
Oh, okay.
It's the same here in Chicago.
I mean, oh, really? Because they do this thing out here called jerking or whatever, and it's a dance, and and the dance is like I said, they floating on their tippy toes. Man, it's you don't want to see it, brother. I just seen a little bit of it, and I just couldn't. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, white supremacy bringing it hard on that, you know, that whole anti-sexual thing. It's, you know, younger and younger.
Do you all feel there is any connection? Because you said it's a lot of, which is what I thought. A lot of kids watch this. Do you all feel there's any connection between pedophilia and this, with all the homosexual content in the show?
Yeah. That underwear drawer with the quarters, I was going to bring that up. I mean, they even get the granddad involved in some of that stuff, and that's what I just, that's inexcusable. it seems like he's involved in it. Like, you know, the granddad shouldn't be condoning anything like that, but to bring his character into some of that.
I think that's pretty clear. I mean, and then when you have the kids is the ones saying like, hey, older person, hey, granddad of mine, you know, you kind of wilding out with this kissing man thing, you know. And then they got to concede, well, if you really want to do it, then, I mean, that's way wild.
There was one part in the show tonight where the kid asked, are you going to rape us? I think one of the white kids asked the prisoner if he's going to rape him, and he said, what do I look like, a priest? Do we look like priests?
I remember that.
To me, that kind of language, it seems like positive language. It doesn't seem like negative language. Just like, you feel what I mean? Like that question, just like when the granddad said, when Tyler Perry or his character or whatever, and the Paul said, please, can I have some ass? That please, that positive language like that, where it seems normal. It's like normal. Mm-hmm. It's like a normal verbiage or whatever. And then granddad saying yes, or however he said. Did he say yes or?
I think he said okay.
I think he said okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's positive language from what I understand about language, and you know, that stuff goes in, that's positive. Mm-hmm. Are we going to get raped? I mean, instead of like, you know, if you say it a different way, like, we ain't getting raped, you know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't happening, I don't care. The two
just by mentioning it, it puts it in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with Gus that, yeah, I think that there is a push toward that too. I mean, when you study, you know, the history of especially Western homosexuality, it did get to a point where all the big men in the society had like boys. That was their thing. And I remember this movie. This is an old movie, True Lies. There's a scene where the guy is describing the other guy's wife. He doesn't know it's his wife. It's Jamie Lee Curtis. And he says that, yeah, she has an ass like a 12-year-old boy. That's in the movie. I nearly fell out of my seat. I, you know, had to rewind it, and is that what I'm? And that's what he says.
I mean, in a positive light, like that was a good thing, or?
Yeah. He was complimenting her like you know, like sexually complimenting her that, yeah, she's got an ass like a 12-year-old boy.
Well, keep in mind.
That is in that movie.
Yeah, keep in mind, Jamie Lee Curtis, in an interview on Jay Leno's show, said that she was born with both male and female genitals.
Oh, that's right.
Wow. And then the parents made a decision to, you know, to cut off the penis and to raise her as a female because she had more, you know, female apparatus. But to touch on, Gus, your question, I think we need to broaden your horizons, sir. I don't think pedophilia is really the goal. I think the goal is anything goes, whether it be children, your parents, dogs, horses, anything, aliens, anything goes. They don't want to bury your own sex. That's the goal. No barriers.
I think you're absolutely right. I saw a commercial the other day, and I was arguing about this with my girlfriend. She thought I was tripping, but I think it's some kind of pet food commercial. And in it, this woman is in the bedroom, and she's got on like a nightie or a sexy negligee, and there's a dog in the bed, and she asked the dog which dress she should wear. And I just thought, isn't that kind of strange and kind of denoting bestiality? And she said, oh, you're just, reading into things or whatever. But I see things like that. And I wonder if, like you said, anything goes. I think that's another thing they promote.
You remember the name of the pet food?
No. I'm trying to search and find out whether it was a pet food commercial. I know that in the commercial they had the animals were trying to tell the people to do certain things or giving them a message. And yeah, this dog was, the scene looked like, the kind of scene like when you wake up in the morning and with your lady or your wife and, she's asking you what dress she's going to wear for whatever. And like I said, she was dressed in a kind of a sexy nightgown. And I was like,
they are doing it in phases.
That's crazy. I did want to bring up a couple of things on the pause I thought was crazy when Tom called the police and the female officer asked him, "Has he been raped yet?" Thought that was crazy. I thought that come on, that's the police, and she said it, and they were laughing. The one part where the scared stiff in quotes guy was talking, and he stopped and said he was distracted by the fine nigga right there. And the part where the other scared straight guy came up talking about the jelly and the peanut butter, and he said something. Then he said, but for Tom, it would be lunch. He said, I don't know if you could, for the people that didn't see the episode, he was basically saying, have you guys heard of what do they call it? He said the toss your salad guy.
Yep.
It toss the salad guy or whatever. So the things that they got us laughing at, I think somebody was saying jokes for the sakes of laughs, and what kind of laughs or what kind of humor is it or whatever. To laugh, that's nothing to laugh. That ain't nothing. I don't know. Manili Fuller said, I think he was right, but I just wanted to say that those parts were pretty severe. That's it.
This is something that Mr. Fuller and I are totally in agreement with. We've had conversations about this particular issue and where it's going to go. You cannot play with these boundaries. Cannot play with it. And I'm not just talking about them wanting to just you do anything, any or everything you want to do. I mean doing it in public. You go to the grocery store, people, you're going to see people outside doing whatever they want to do.
Oh, out here?
That's the level of confusion I believe they want to get it to. Where when you go to a park, you'll see, how they have porta potties at parks. You'll see some little porta sex party where people can go in and have sex if they want to.
Yeah, they're doing it out here. They took over the Fairfax district out here. Now this district is where this is the Jewish district or whatever. But you go get your farmers market and stuff. The gays took the daggone street of Fairfax over, where as soon as the sun went down, they were having sex in public, in people's yards, on the street, and when people would come out and try to shoo them away, they would beat down the property owners, basically, run them back in the house, telling them to mind their own business.
Right, we're not bothering you. That's what they're gonna say.
This was a big thing out here, man. These gays was taking over the area and daring anybody to say anything public. It was crazy. I don't even know if it's still going on, but man, they were leaving. They were having sex in people's bushes and hedges and oh man, it was crazy. I mean, totally, it was unbelievable, man, but it was actually happening where they were indignant. They were like, go in the house. Like, what are you talking about? You having sex on my daggone bushes. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we don't care. Mind your business.
I can hear the argument in the courtroom now. They don't have a problem with it. They don't have a problem with his two dogs doing it. Why are they mad when we do it? You don't go shooing the dogs away. I'm greater than a dog. I can hear the argument now.
Maybe if I find it, Gus, I'll send it to you because I'm sure some of you guys might want to read about it. I mean, I'm sure. I know you ain't. It's hard to believe. So. Oh,
please, that's gonna go in my ammunition folder.
Yeah, for people that don't believe it.
Right, because I've been telling black folks, do not vote on that measure. Do not vote for it. Stand your ground.
Have any of you ever read a book called The Sex Imperative?
No, I haven't heard of it.
I'm reading it now.
You're reading it now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Very interesting. It has a lot to do with what we're talking about now. I think it's the guy's name is
I was muted.
I'm
muted. I was saying we're doing that on July 8th. He's coming on the show third time. We're doing Sex Imperative and Complementarity, July 8th.
Yes. Oh, that'll be interesting. And he talks about how moving a people past once you move people past a sexual norm, it's pretty much easy to change any norm in their culture. So I think it's like they go after that first. Yeah, I'll be interested to hear what he says about that and what's going on.
Yeah, you're going to need some strong stomachs to deal with this one.
And he talks about things that, like what I said about the bestiality, it was things that I really didn't notice at first. But he talked about like the number of internet searches it's a very popular topic.
Yeah, and it's a variety of different animals that I've seen. See, we don't know. I grew up around white people and whatnot, and if you didn't, I know certain places you don't grow up around white people. You don't hear these stories about them with their pets and what they do with their pets and whatnot, and their genitalia and their pets. It's been like a secret that they had, and then nobody know about it. You know, non-white people, especially black people, they never know about that they've been doing for a while. Now it's just
nothing new.
Huh?
It's nothing new.
Yeah.
I mean, you got those stories in the Bible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they talked about it, but in that book with the shepherds and all that, it's been going on.
Been going on.
I mean, I seen a lady in the bathtub with fish, man, getting off on fish. And this ain't this ain't nothing that I was looking for. It just was it was on YouTube, and she was naked in the bath. Yeah, it was on YouTube, man. Yeah, she was, and so some writers were saying that they was calling the FBI and reporting her to the FBI because she put that out, in public. But it had already got a lot of views. About time, YouTube took it off. I mean, she was freaking out, white lady with fish, man.
How do you even train him?
I mean,
didn't Hugh Hefner say he did something with a chicken? Or was it Hugh Hefner or the paralyzed dude that did the sex magazines?
That was Larry Flint. They did a movie about Larry Flint.
He said his first sexual experience was with a chicken.
Didn't know that. Yeah, in that book they even talk about that phrase "choking the chicken," and it has a literal connotation to it.
Yeah, that and spanking the monkey.
Ooh. Oh. Hey.
See, they got little sayings.
Damn. Oh, Lord.
White man keep a saying. Never judge a book by its cover. Got a whole bunch of them.
And did you see that pause? That the little dance scene that they did, that was from a movie. This non-white female told me that was actually from they stole that from a movie. I don't think that's it was like a movie.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
Very popular. It's in fact
it's annual, right?
Yes. They love to reenact it. People come dressed up like that, and they dance in the theaters.
And the creep in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the vampire creep, he was having sex with both the female and the male, from what I've been told.
I have seen that dance sequence. I haven't seen the whole thing, but yeah, they keep singing "Let's Do the Time Warp" again, and he's dressed like a woman. So yeah, he took it straight from that.
Gus, I noticed you talked about the episode on the Boondocks with what's the one with Riley and the kid? What was the kid's name? The one that
Letarian.
Right.
Letarian.
Yeah, Letarian. One of the things I noticed, and maybe this was Aaron McGruder's way of just trying to kind of put the white man on display. I noticed when the doctor was describing the young boy, he was saying he was emotionless and all this other stuff. I mean, it almost seemed like who he was really describing was himself. And they never talked about in that show how he ended up in his office in the first place. At least I don't recall them saying exactly why he ended up in his office in the first place. So I kind of wondered if that was maybe Aaron McGruder's way of kind of saying that, this man really created this boy. This was really his creation. That ultimately he programmed this boy to do the things that he was doing. I wrestled with that after watching, because I think I watched that episode a couple of times. Just to pick up on that. Keep in mind also, he had a restraining order put out against him. and yet the boy hadn't killed anything yet.
He killed that dog.
He did kill a dog, but he hadn't killed anything up until then, and yet he had a restraining order against him. So I wrestled with that, you know. I wrestled with that. I said, wow, I wonder if, you know, he was trying to send a deeper meaning with that particular character. Because when he was describing emotions and all the other stuff, I mean, he was talking about himself.
He did say that he was not human.
Right.
He referenced himself as icky too, when he was telling the Freemans about him having the restraining order, and them saying, you know, stay away from our child, and they think I'm icky. Yeah.
And he was the only person that boy was afraid of.
Yeah.
That boy wasn't afraid of nobody but that man.
Yeah, I think you got something there.
It was so much. I have to watch it again, but so much of that was the content from, because I knew that was Halloween that they were doing a parody
I
of.
agree. True.
That it's hard to kind of kick that to the curb, like, okay, this is not Michael Myers and this is not Dr. that's being played out here. But I will watch it again. I'll watch it again. I think that's valid because he does. I think there's a lot to what you're saying. I'll watch it again to see if that's there.
And another thing on the pause. Remember when the girl was naming, the granddad was talking to the black girl, and she was naming all the films that she had been in, 6 Dicks of Separation and whatnot. And then she said, I was just thinking, when she said, I was giving up to ask for myself, but now I'm giving it up for Jesus and whatnot. And the granddad said, praise Jesus in the name of Jesus. Said,
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was one of the funnier episodes.
Yeah, that was
for sure.
Yeah,
it was hilarious, man.
Yeah,
but I was just thinking that Granddad kind of got religious. He was getting sucked into that religious, because he even told when he was fighting with Huey and Riley, he said, "I'll rebuke you," and then when he called him up on the phone, he was like, "Praise Jesus." I just thought that was interesting that he was getting very religious in his terminologies, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
I was just gonna say I appreciated the cult aspect of it as well. Like it was almost like Jim Jones. Like they had the black female. They kept talking about she was going to get Kool-Aid, and
yes.
When Riley and Huey, when they came to rescue Granddad, the black male said he's on the path to Jesus, and he was walking and he just had the long trench coat on and he was naked underneath. I kind of appreciated the way they made it seem like a cult. That was all I was going to toss in.
And not only the Kool-Aid, but also the fact that she had that zoned out look.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. Well, just what he did with the eyes, I said, "Oh wow."
She said she had to stop talking to her family because they watched Ice Cube movies or something like that.
Yeah. That was what I meant though about the consistency of them portraying black females in just really degraded fashion. Because they did the same thing when Luna was on in season 2 with the Attack of the Killer Kung Fu, blah blah blah. Her eyes would go really crazy. Like she would be normal, and she would be talking, and then she would get to a part where it was something crazy about her, and her eyes would go really funny, just like that character in Pause. Like I think she was sitting at the table, and they asked her, did she have any pets or something, and she said, yeah, da-da-da-da, and 16 wolves, and her eyes went really crazy, and it was like that was a motif for the episode. Anytime she said something crazy, her eyes would look similar to that character's.
They do that with Tom sometimes. Like I know on the Booty whatever episode, and then on when Snake Minner possessed him, they'll do his eyes do that crazy look. Does anybody know? I think like Tyler Perry, does he have some sort of compound or something like that, or studios or whatever? I know on the episode they said, welcome to the compound or whatever, and it was like a huge, acreage area. I mean, does he have something like that for real or no?
He does. They showed it on I don't know if you guys caught Black in America on CNN, and they did interview him, and he does have like his own studio in Atlanta, and he's got it, kind of set up like a makeshift Hollywood type of, and he can film a lot of his movies right there. So yeah, he does have a compound. The answer to that is yes.
Is 818 still on the line? Are the females still on the line?
I'm here.
A question was asked about how to, and I'm not sure if that person is still on the line or not, but he had asked a question about getting along with, how to better get along with black females. Do any of you ladies have any suggestions about that?
I'm not sure I'm in the position to talk for all females. I could just talk for myself. And I would just say as long as, I'm trying to understand the system that we're in as well, and just being more clear about it makes me more aware that, although I've never been very argumentative towards black men, I have been with other black females, and so just knowing that that's how we're supposed to be trained, I think that I have a different approach to, a lot of people that I encounter, and I would just say just me being aware makes me more, I don't know, I wouldn't say friendlier. I don't know the answer to that question. Just I don't know how to answer that question.
The thing I've tried to do is kind of do it slowly, and one of the men had said that it's good to try to mention it when there's actually been some type of mistreatment toward them. They're more open to it. Because that is a problem I've had. I would think that you wouldn't be the norm, because you're on the phone right now talking about white supremacy, and that's not the norm for most non-white males or females.
Right.
And that is one thing that I've really kind of run into problems with. That it's it can bring up static in a relationship, and it gets to a point where you try not to mention it, and it can still come up. And I feel like you should be able to mention it or talk about it, but I've had problems myself personally, and that was one of the things. It seemed like when I mentioned it, most of the guys at least knew what I was talking about. They might not be in that situation, but they all understood.
Yeah. Right. I think I get that too. I can't really mention it to certain female friends. I remember I just had a kind of an I know we're not supposed to be arguing, and you're supposed to have constructive conversations, but sometimes, I mean, I would have to avoid the conversation, like about white supremacy and the system, in order to talk to certain people. So, and they are females. So